When I was 16, I met my first boyfriend. He was nothing like the guy I had imagined in my dreams. He was shy and unwilling to give in. He wasn't interested in the fun parts of life and drank too much. Despite this, he was the only person who didn't push me away. So began a 9-year journey into hell for the person. His drinking turned into a flood of violence, and my life turned into a terrifying scene I could never have imagined or wished upon anyone. The violence never stopped, every week or sometimes every day. At such a young age, I thought this pain was love and took the blame on myself as if I were to blame. No one else was ever hit by him, and he often kept the peace in public fights. But in the privacy of our home, he let out his anger on me, and I learned to deal with it and believe his words of comfort. Look at you. There are no scars or marks. I was so drunk that I could hardly stand. How could I have made you hurt? You're responding too much. I'm not serious. On a cold winter night, the scary story took a scary turn. He came home after a night of heavy drinking and, while he was still drunk, sat down on my legs and hit my stomach with his hands. This regular abuse wasn't shocking in how bad it was. It didn't leave any physical marks but left deep psychological scars. But on this particular night, there was a new and scary darkness in his eyes, an evil I had never seen before. The last thing I remember is his hands squeezing my throat and his teeth biting down hard on my left eyebrow in a way that felt wild and primal. It was hard to tell when we got to the emergency room. As I woke up, I was leaning against the back wall and watching as doctors and nurses worked frantically on a body that I recognized as mine. When I saw the flat line on the heart monitor, I felt a wave of fear. But that fear slowly went away as I felt a huge sense of peace and love surround me. When I was in that spiritual state, I saw everything so clearly that it was hard to explain. I could see and hear everything inside and outside the hospital. Even though it was the middle of winter in Finland, the world outside seemed full of color and life. When my grandparents showed up, they brought me unmatched happiness and love. Their arrival caused such deep happiness that it could not be put into words. They gave me a choice. I could join them or go back to being human. The difference was stark. My physical self seemed very small, while my present existence felt huge and endless. It was hard to imagine going back into that small body. As I talked to my grandparents, I felt the presence of many others around me, greeting me with words about how we make our lives. I felt an outpouring of love and knowledge that was too much for humans to understand. At that point, I realized that the cancer in my stomach was a sign of the fear, anxiety, and stress I had been hiding from my boyfriend so he wouldn't feel bad about what he had done. I also knew that if I chose to go back, the sickness would be gone. I caught a glimpse of the wonderful stage of life, where each of us has a part to play in this amazing show called life. Every decision and every detail fits perfectly into the grand tapestry of the universe. In this case, there is no clear-cut right or wrong or good or bad. The decisions we make are based on what we know and how much love we have for others. Before we even get to Earth, we make a lot of choices, knowing that those choices are always opening up and changing. What life is really about. Happiness. Our job is to enjoy happiness, to add to the world with our unique ideas and experiences, and to discover this amazing playground we call Earth. My grandparents kindly pushed me to make a choice as I was about 20 minutes away from brain death. I couldn't fight the urge to go back. I hadn't really lived yet. I wanted to see, do, and feel so many things. It was hard to leave my grandparents and the beautiful people who were always around me, but I knew they would always be with me and that I could call on their help whenever I needed it. As soon as I opened my eyes and saw my body again, I knew for sure that my cancer was gone. My life was about to change in a big way. I had a strong urge to jump out of that hospital bed and go back to my own life. Naturally, the doctors demanded that I stay in the hospital, stressing the rules and showing concern about the cancer that was still there, even though my heart was temporarily stopping. They told me it might be months before I could go back home. But I knew something was wrong. They were shocked when tests after only 24 hours showed that there was no sign of cancer. After about a week, I was sent home. The year after I came very close to dying was a rough one. I felt times of pure happiness and joy, like when I was on the other side. But these moments didn't last long because I was also feeling overwhelmed by the fact that my body was too small to hold my huge emotions. Every emotion was a huge, uncontrollable force. I hadn't learned how to control and balance my energy presence on Earth yet, which made me feel deeply what other people were feeling. The pain my friend feels over a broken relationship. I really felt it. The local grocery store owner's anger at his awkward busboy. It rushed through me with raw power. How happy is the grass as it stretches toward the sun? Through every part of my body, I felt it. I sometimes felt like I couldn't handle the weight of these strong feelings. I questioned my choice to return. Over time, I regained control of my energy field and learned how to protect myself from outside forces. I learned to value this earthy playground as a place with endless options. I can choose how to interact with the world, how my memories will be, and how I see my future. I moved to the United States and started a successful career as a makeup artist in movies. I was nominated for both an Oscar and an Emmy. Each of my two boys is special and unique, and they bring me and everyone they meet a lot of happiness. Even after 30 years, I still feel grateful for the amazing chance to live on this world. Even though I don't think I know everything, I do know that how I act has a big effect on the world around me. It's my choice to be a channel for goodness, a way for support and good vibes to reach everyone I meet. I want to do this, even though the people closest to me didn't want to hear about what happened when I first tried to. I've now chosen to tell my story. It's not worth worrying about things because life is too short. My goal is to make sure that everyone always feels loved, safe, and supported. You can still share your story and make a change at any time. I've been a lighthouse and a safe place for many over the past 30 years, even though I haven't told my story. Even though just being there has helped, I now know that talking about my experiences can make an even bigger difference. Even though my grammar isn't great, and I'm still learning how to tell my story without sounding crazy, everything is going to plan at the right time. What did you think about this event? Please tell me what you think in the space below. Stay safe until we talk again, and keep noticing the good things in your life.